Hey guys, it's Clay on the trail. I'm back up in the Uintas here for a solo camp with me and my pal Cash. It's a toasty, like 19 degrees. It's supposed to be down, it'll be around between 0 and 5 tonight. It says 9 at my house, but I'm a little ways away from here, so. Got some new gear, want to try it out. Well, I had a camp out planned last week with my son. We were going to come out, in a different tent that I have and check it out and try it out. And his wife decided to have a baby the night before we went. So we had to bail out on that one. But I am a grandpa ×3 now. So that is super cool. Ended up not going, but today the mountains were just calling me and I couldn't say no. So gonna go back to a familiar spot. I'm carrying a lot of gear. I'll be pulling it on a sled or a polk, setting up, and I'll show you my new stuff. So I'm just walking along here. I decided I'm going to bail off the trail. I was looking at here, but if I go right there, I don't have to climb up over this hill. And laying right in the middle of the trail is a pick. I set it there. Whoever lost it, they'll find it on their way back out. I just can't imagine what anybody's winter camping with a pick. I don't know, got me. Beautiful, beautiful day though. Slight little breeze. Sunshine all around. So I made it to the canal, which has made hiking way easier. Really, really pathetic amount of snowfall this year. I mean, I'm stepping in some 2-foot drifts, but on average there's probably 6, maybe 8 inches of snow is all. So this little flat right here is where Haggard Wilderness and I did our Quincy camp last year. I know this because I can see the 2 trees we cut down for firewood. But I am gonna have my hot tent this trip, and there's a bunch of just perfect sized trees going across the canal right there. So I'm going to go up in here and shovel me off a spot. I'll set up and I'll show you my new surprise. Well, I'm guessing it wasn't too hard to figure out a new purchase for me. I've been making stoves for the last several weeks anyway. I actually made a tarp tent that I really, really like, but the thing is humongous. Like I could sleep 5, 6 people in it. I thought about making a smaller one, but man, I just keep making all these tents that they're heavy. This one, oh, it's not my lightest tent, but it's a nice tent. I was able to use my big stove in it. I ran it in my yard for a while with my medium-sized stove, and I'm going to go back on my word and I'm going to work on it. I think it may be a better size for this. But I came early today. I started cutting wood and I realized it's probably 1, 2 o'clock and I haven't had lunch yet. So I'm got a fire going and ramen bomb cooking. I'm going to stop and eat, and then I'll go cut enough wood to make sure I get through the night, and I'm just going to hang out. So this is a Luxe, I believe it's the F6ES or a Octopeak, I don't know, 6. I got the stove jack in it and the snow skirts. It's coyote brown. I mean, I really like it. One flaw I'm having with my big stove, I cannot use my legs. I've not ever run this thing without legs. I may scorch the ground a little bit, but my flue adjuster is too tall. I'd have to move it down in order to use this with legs, but it's toasty in here for sure. It's got to be, I don't know, 10, 11 degrees outside with the wind, and it's 75, 80 in here. I pushed snow all the way around the bottom, so I'm not getting any drafts. I actually had to pop the window here a little bit, the door a little bit, to air it out some. So That's all the wood I've cut so far. It's not much, but my stomach was growling. So a couple of things. First, a simple ramen. It's got corn and spinach. The packet, I didn't even really put anything else in there, and as I'm eating it, I wish I'd have put some cayenne or some, I don't know, something in it. It's pretty weak. I didn't bring my freezer bag cozy. I don't know about if I say on purpose or not. I mean, I purposely didn't bring it because I have my anorak, my wool anorak I made, doing the same thing. Two purposes on it. So if you haven't checked out my last video on how I made it, or why I made it, I guess, check it out. It's an awesome jacket. And number two, I was digging through some stuff, and I found my old sorrels. Like, these are, I bought these when I was 18, 19 years old. So, well, 30 years ago. I found them stashed away, and I realized why. These are like a 20 below boot. My feet just sweat horribly in them. They get the wool all wet, and they really don't stay all that warm. So I've had to take them off and dry them off. A foot off the ground. I can't see it wear it very well. We're over 60 degrees. And up here where my head is, I was sweating. I finally turned the stove down, turned the flue down a little bit, just let it smolder and keep it warm in here. It doesn't need to be 80 all the time. It's ridiculous. But gonna let the noodles finish softening up, and then I'll go out, cut some more wood. Cash and I may go for a walk. I'm not really sure. I'm here all day and however long I want to be tomorrow. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, I've opted, I don't know, it's 3:30, 4-ish. I've opted for a walk. I've never known them to groom this before. And maybe they're not grooming it. This is actually a snowmobile trail, but pretty sweet they're expanding out. There's a skier. Anyway, everybody goes the other way. I'm going this way. And even right here, everybody goes that way, and well, I'm going this way. I'm gonna go check out my river campsite. I really, really like it, and I would have liked to have gone to it today, but I'm not sure there's enough square footage down there to set my tent up. So that will be, I mean, I'm super close to it. It's only a half-mile away. So I'll go check it out, and I'll pace it off. I know roughly what size I need it to be. Man, I love that I can be 100 yards from people and they have no idea I'm here. Nobody else comes here. Only tracks here are my dog, some coyote, and I believe a moose. There's some moose scat right by my tent. All right, I popped out onto the side trail, coming off the main trail. Lots of use this year. It's crazy, snowshoe and skis. Crazy spot we camp is just up here on this next corner. I'm down the hill. Open water down there, it's crazy. And ski tracks on the snow, even crazier. Man, ever since people figured out the whole hot tent thing, you don't have to freeze or have tons of extra gear. People are really getting out. But I can see where we camped. It's just right down here in this grove of trees below us, right there. So I'm going to pop down here. Fresh beaver sign. Just right 20 feet in front of me, there's a freshly, like really freshly chewed stick. Quakey. So it's weird that they're still active in January. They should be hibernating, but there's open water, so they'll do their things. So, all right, I'm not going to film myself falling down the hill, so I'll see you at the bottom. That's fresh. So there's all the wood that we've left, all the different trips. Down in here where we hang, I think I could set it up right in here, but it'd be super tight and it's not very level. It's pine duff, bark and chewed up pine cones, so it'd be softer. Haggard camped out here on the ice one year. It's sad how little snow there is. We're going to be in trouble if we don't start getting some soon. Ice is over there. Crap, the ice is 2 foot thick. You can see on the other side somebody's skied up the bottom. It's a beautiful, beautiful trip. I don't blame them for sure. All right, totally campable, although I like the spot I'm at better for hot tent, unless I'm going to move out onto the ice. I'm not sure I'm into that, but on moving water, it's one thing on a ice fishing or something. But all right, head back up the hill here and take the ravine home. So I came home through the forest instead of the ravine. And what a beautiful sight. Tent actually blends in very well for being brown in a sea of white, but there's a lot of brown around and rocks sticking out. Of course, the dead giveaway, the chimney's spewing smoke, but I was saying about getting my snowmobile in here, but I mean, come ride my snowmobile and then go like a quarter mile from my truck just seems kind of silly. Not sure how I feel about that yet. Oh. There's a little deer, or it could be a sheep. It's hard to say. up here. See all the big rocks sticking out. Isn't completely far off from my tent color-wise. Oh, and earlier when I said the snow was only 8-10 inches, whatever I said, deep. Yeah, when I had to dig this out, about 2 feet here in this little meadow. Little bough bed for Cash. I did bring his wool pad, the horse pad he sleeps on, so I cut 6 boughs from 6 different trees. And yes, it's legal. We asked. He doesn't like the heat. He's an outside dog, and he'll sleep out here tonight and just be totally happy. Look at him just curl up on the snow and chew the ice from his toes. Well, I'm gonna go in where it's warm, I guess. Seems silly to have a hot tent and sit out here in the cold. It is maintaining 60 degrees in here at, 20 inches off the ground, 18 inches off the ground. I brought my chair. There's certainly not too much room in here for it. If I would have moved the wood pile to the other side, and I don't know. I'm in here alone, so I just put my stuff wherever I felt like putting it. I'm going to keep I bring all my stuff in a sled in a big duffel bag, and I'm going to push it against the wall, and it'll just act as a little bit of insulation between me and the cold. The stove is doing a number to the snow in here. There was only a 1/4 inch. I shoveled it off best I could, but I didn't have a broom. We're turning into mud, but by tomorrow morning it might be dirt. I've got the window open. Oh. Cash is chilling in his bed. Yeah, licking himself. Oh, good dog there. Boots drying out again. I brought this 3/4 pad just to sit on, and then I have my tensor. It's in here somewhere. Insulated wide, regular wide, that I'll sleep on. Keep my bag off the mud, and I did bring just a crappy blue tarp. Stay off the mud, thank goodness. I'd had to cut a lot of pine boughs to put down on this sucker. I know it's a little early yet, but I'm gonna lose light here in another hour before I get hungry. This is tonight's dinner. I have some just sliced up potatoes with a pat of butter, salt and peppered, and then there's some onion in there. I have 2 Grands biscuits, pat of butter. This is like the butter menu here. Got a pat of butter, and seasoning, and a T-bone steak, ranch raised, not bought at the grocery store, so good quality, and I know where it came from, and a couple packets of apple cider for drink. I sorted through my wood pile. And I've kept these big rounds for, you know, right before I go to bed, and then I'll have to stoke it once in the middle of the night to make it till morning. I've got a lot of medium stuff in the meantime. And then I batoned, I don't know, a few of my medium-sized pieces into smaller pieces for when I cook. That'll get a good hot fire going. So, sun pops out here and there, but it's getting awful low. I know it's gonna cool off in a hurry and get dark in a hurry. I started getting a crazy mud hole. Cash wasn't using the boughs, so I moved him in here to the mud hole. He was laying over there, but I stoked this fire up to cook, and he bailed on me. So, well, we should start there. There's my potatoes and onions. And if you have never fried bread in a pan and butter, boy, you're missing out on something spectacular. Steak is yet to come, but got me a beautiful full moon tonight. It's going to be awesome. That's awesome. All right, so total random. You probably can't see anything with the headlights on. Hanging out in my tent after dinner, and I hear, "Hey, Clay on the trail," and I look out the window, and there's Haggard Wilderness just cruising by for a night ski. So he came in, had a beverage and a bite, and he's going to be rolling out. But talk about complete randomness.
Right, crazy.
So check him out if you haven't. So Jason said he was coming up to do some night skiing with some friends, and got to the parking lot and got a text that they couldn't come. Saw my truck, threw on his skis. He knew I'd be one of two places. So that was cool. He dropped in. So after he left, Cash and I went for a walk just up and down the ravine. It is a full moon tonight, almost a full moon, and it is bright. Like no headlamp, no nothing. Didn't even take my snowshoes. So that was cool. I just got back. Restocked the fire, stoked it up. Thing is, it's only like 7:30. I can't go to bed for another hour and a half. Crap, I'll be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm gonna shut down for the night, put the camera away, get my bed out. Cash did decide to join me in here. I block all this wood up and stuff between the stove and him, so it stays a little cooler over there. And then I leave the door. I know you can't see anything, but I leave the door unzipped about a foot. Lets air in and out of here, you know, carbon monoxide and smoke and all that stuff. Plus there's a vent up here, lets fresh air in. That way, if he decides to bail on me, he doesn't make a new door and ruin my new tent. So I will see you guys in the morning. Well, good morning, everybody. I've actually been up for a little bit. It was 60 degrees in the tent when I crawled out of my bag. It's right at 0 degrees Fahrenheit outside. My thermometer's teeny, and I plus or minus a little bit, I can't tell. But all I had to do was adjust the flue, adjust the air vent, and it's back up to ridiculously hot in here. Got my breakfast going, just some oatmeal and hot chocolate. Cash stayed in all night. He tried to bail out on me twice, but I just told him no, and he came back and laid down. So he did all right. I burned all of the big rounds that I had, and I have four little pieces of wood left. Now, I'm not in any hurry to go anywhere today, so I just may sit here and burn all 4 of these just out of the principle that I cut them, but who knows? Wait for at least the sun to come up. So I guess before I go, I ought to say a few things about this tent. I've only hot tented twice now, I guess. Well, since I was a little kid. The other one was in my ice fishing hut, my Eskimo little Quick Fish 3, I think. You know, I had a cot. It was cramped, but I kept the tent a lot more consistently hot than I did this one. It's a little heavier fabric, I think, and it makes a difference on the, you know, how well it holds the heat in. I had a full moon last night, and this sil nylon, this Luxe tent is sil nylon. You could see shadows in here. I didn't hardly have to use my headlamp last night at all, so that was super cool. The moonlight was so bright last night that as the smoke went out of the chimney and crossed the tent, it was casting shadows. So there was these weird swirls going on. It actually took me a minute to figure out what it was, but it was pretty awesome. I cranked the stove up and got it real hot and opened the door up pretty good, and you could see as far as you wanted to see. So I really like this tent. 2 people in here with this big stove, well, would be a thing. It's doable, but it'd be pretty tight. But with 2 people, you'd probably have a fire outside, and this would be the, you know, maybe cook in here with the door open and then sleep in here. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping to get out on a bunch more trips. So I definitely recommend it. Compared to the tarp tent, my homemade one, it would fit 2-3 people easy with cots and like the whole 9 yards, everything, and have tons of room. But it weighs twice as much, and it doesn't roll up. You know, it rolls up probably 5 times as big as this one. So they each have their ups and downs. If I was going on a sled ride and gonna stay with 2 or 3 people, the other one would be a good deal. For solo, even though this says it's a 2 to 3 person, it was pretty much just right for me and Cash. So when I dug the snow out for the hole here, the ground wasn't horribly frozen, so I was able to pound the stakes in pretty easy. I'm wondering now that they've had to be able to sit all night long and the ground to really freeze hard, how easy it is to get it back. I'm hoping that I don't have to come back this spring or summer and get my stakes back. That would kind of suck, but you know, we'll see how everything goes out. One thing I love about this stove, I was able to pull it out of the tent by just taking the top 2 pieces of stovepipe off and then pulling the stove out, dropping my tent, and then I can take the top off here. My hands are freezing. I just pulled all the stakes out of the ice. They all came pretty easily. I only bent one, and it's not horribly bent. I'll be able to straighten it. And I can sit here. I have an open flame, or an open coals at least, to keep my hands warm. And then when I'm really ready to go, I'll just flip it upside down, dump it out in the snow, and I'll be ready to go. I did want to show the footprint of this tent before I left. You can see that Cash slept right here, so I had his pad down so it didn't thaw the snow. I slept right here, so it didn't thaw the snow or the ice because of the plastic tarp and the stuff that I had on top of it. My stove was right here. So I'm at that point in my in the coldness with my crappy batteries. If you want to know why they die as fast as they do, I have a video on GoPro batteries. They're cold. My batteries are lasting about 3 minutes each. So I'm going to go ahead and close here while I can. Had a great camp. Just totally by chance ran into Haggard Wilderness. check out his channel if you haven't. He does a lot of good stuff. We have had quite a few good campouts together. So thanks for coming along. Don't be afraid to get out. It doesn't take a huge investment to winter camp. And you can do it warmly. I slept in a 20-degree bag last night and never, ever, ever was cold. So thanks for coming. Please give me a thumbs up. Feel free to share. Subscribe if you haven't, and adventure on.